Book of Sirach. Chapter 21. My son, have you sinned? Do so no more, but ask pardon for your former sins. Flee from sin as from the face of a serpent. For if you come too near it, it will bite you. The teeth thereof are as the teeth of a lion, slaying the souls of men. All iniquity is as a two-edged sword, the wounds whereof cannot be healed. If a person is insolent and arrogant, will waste away riches, thus the house of proud men shall be made desolate. A prayer out of a poor man's mouth reaches to the ears of Elohim, and his judgment comes speedily. He that hates to be reproved is in the way of sinners, but he that fears Yahuwah will repent from his heart. An eloquent man is known far and near, but a man of understanding knows when he slips. He that builds his house with other men's money is like one that gathers himself stones for the tomb of his burial. The congregation of the wicked is like tow wrapped together, and the end of them is a flame of fire to destroy them. The way of sinners is paved with smooth stones, but at the end thereof is the pit of Sheol. He that keeps the law of Yahuwah gets the understanding thereof, and the perfection of the fear of Yahuwah is wisdom. He that is not wise will not be taught, but there is a wisdom which multiplies bitterness. The knowledge of a wise man shall abound like a flood, and his counsel is like a pure fountain of life. The inner parts of a fool are like a broken vessel, and he will hold no knowledge as long as he lives. If a skillful man hear a wise word, he will commend it, and add unto it. But as soon as one of no understanding hears it, it displeases him, and he casts it behind his back. Listening to a foolish person talk is like traveling with a heavy burden on your back, but favor shall be found in the lips of the wise. They inquire at the mouth of the wise man in the congregation, and they shall ponder his words in their heart. As is a house that is destroyed, so is wisdom to a fool, and the knowledge of the unwise is as talk without sense. Doctrine unto fools is as fetters on the feet, and like manacles on the right hand. A fool lifts up his voice with laughter, but a wise man do scarcely smile a little. Learning is unto a wise man as an ornament of gold, and like a bracelet upon his right arm. A foolish man's foot is soon in his neighbor's house, but a man of experience is ashamed of him. A fool will peep in at the door into the house, but he that is well nurtured will stand without. It is the rudeness of a man to hearken at the door, but a wise man will be grieved with the dishonor. The lips of talkers will be telling such things as pertain not unto them, but the words of such as have understanding are weighed in the balance. The heart of fools is in their mouth, but the mouth of the wise is in their heart. When the unrighteous curses Satan, he curses his own soul. A whisperer defiles his own soul, and is hated wheresoever he dwells. Chapter 22. A slothful man is compared to a filthy stone, and everyone will hiss him out to his dishonor. A slothful man is compared to the filth of a dunghill, every man that takes it up will shake his hand. An evil-nurtured man is the dishonor of his father that begat him, and a foolish daughter is born to his loss. A wise daughter shall bring an inheritance to her husband, but she that lives dishonestly is her father's heaviness. She that is bold dishonor both her father and her husband, but they both shall despise her. A tale out of season is as music in mourning, but stripes and correction of wisdom are never out of time. Whoso teaches a fool is as one that glues a potsherd together, and as he that wakes one from a sound sleep. He that tells a tale to a fool speaks to one in a slumber. When he have told his tale, he will say, "What is the matter?" If children live honestly, and have wherewithal, they shall cover the baseness of their parents. But children, being haughty, through disdain, and want of nurture do stain the nobility of their kindred. Weep for the dead, for he have lost the light, and weep for the fool, for he wants understanding. Make little weeping for the dead, for he is at rest, but the life of the fool is worse than death. 7 days do men mourn for him that is dead, but for a fool and an unrighteous man all the days of his life. Talk not much with a fool, and go not to him that have no understanding. Beware of him, lest you have trouble, and you shall never be defiled with his fooleries. Depart from him, and you shall find rest, and never be disquieted with madness. What is heavier than lead? And what is the name thereof, but a fool? Sand and salt and a mass of iron is easier to bear than a man without understanding. As timber girt and bound together in a building cannot be loosed with shaking, so the heart that is stablished by advised counsel shall fear at no time. A heart settled upon a thought of understanding is as a fair plastering on the wall of a gallery. Fences set on an high place will never stand firm against the wind, so a fearful heart in the imagination of a fool cannot stand up to frightening situations. He that pricks the eye will make tears to fall, and he that pricks the heart makes it to show her knowledge. Whoso casts a stone at the birds frays them away, and he that upbraids his friend breaks friendship. Though you drew a sword at your friend, yet despair not, for there may be a returning to favor. If you have opened your mouth against your friend, fear not, for there may be a reconciliation. Except for upbraiding or pride, or disclosing of secrets, or a treacherous wound. For in these things every friend will depart. Be faithful to your neighbor in his poverty, that you may rejoice in his prosperity. Stand by him in the time of his trouble, that you may be heir with him in his heritage. For a mean estate is not always to be contemned, nor the rich that is foolish to be had in admiration. As the vapor and smoke of a furnace goes before the fire, so reviling before blood. I will not be ashamed to defend a friend, neither will I hide myself from him. And if any evil happen unto me by him, every one that hears it will beware of him. Who shall set a watch before my mouth, and a seal of wisdom upon my lips, that I fall not suddenly by them, and that my tongue destroy me not? Chapter 23. O Yahuwah, Father and Governor of all my whole life, leave me not to their counsels, and let me not fall by them. Who will set scourges over my thoughts, and the discipline of wisdom over my heart? That they spare me not for my ignorances, and it pass not by my sins. Lest my ignorances increase, and my sins abound to my destruction, and I fall before my adversaries, and my enemy rejoice over me, whose hope is far from your mercy. O Yahuwah, Father and Elohim of my life, give me not a proud look, but turn away from your servants always a haughty mind. Turn away from me vain hopes, and remove evil desire from me, and you shall hold him up that is desirous always to serve you. Let not the greediness of the belly nor lust of the flesh take hold of me, and do not give me over, your servant, into an impudent mind. Hear, O you children, the discipline of the mouth, he that keeps it shall never be taken in his lips. The sinner shall be left in his foolishness. Both the evil speaker and the proud shall fall thereby. Accustom not your mouth to swearing, neither use yourself to the naming of the set apart one. For as a servant that is continually beaten shall not be without a blue mark, so he that swears and names Elohim continually shall not be faultless. A man that uses much swearing shall be filled with iniquity, and the plague shall never depart from his house. If he shall offend, his sin shall be upon him. And if he acknowledge not his sin, he makes a double offense. And if he swear in vain, he shall not be innocent, but his house shall be full of calamities. There is a word that is clothed about with death, Elohim grant that it be not found in the heritage of Jacob, for all such things shall be far from the righteous, and they shall not wallow in their sins. Use not your mouth to intemperate swearing, for therein is the word of sin. Remember your father and your mother when you sit among great men. Be not forgetful before them, and so you by your custom become a fool, and wish that you had not been born, and curse the day of your nativity. The man that is accustomed to abusive words will never be reformed all the days of his life. Two sorts of men multiply sin, and the third will bring wrath. A hot mind is as a burning fire, it will never be quenched till it be consumed. A fornicator in the body of his flesh will never cease till he have kindled a fire. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger, he will not leave off till he die. A man that breaks wedlock, saying in his heart, who sees me? I am compassed about with darkness, the walls cover me, and nobody sees me. What need I to fear? The Most High will not remember my sins. Such a man only fears the eyes of men, and knows not that the eyes of Yahuwah are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts. He knew all things ere ever they were created. So also after they were perfected he looked upon them all. This man shall be punished in the streets of the city, and where he suspects not, he shall be taken. Thus shall it go also with the wife that leaves her husband and brings in an heir by another. For first, she hath disobeyed the law of the Most High, and secondly, she hath trespassed against her own husband, and thirdly, she hath played the whore in adultery, and brought children by another man. She shall be brought out into the congregation, and inquisition shall be made of her children. Her children shall not take root, and her branches shall bring forth no fruit. She shall leave her memory to be cursed, and her reproach shall not be blotted out. And they that remain shall know that there is nothing better than the fear of Yahuwah, and that there is nothing sweeter than to take heed unto the commandments of Yahuwah. It is great splendor to follow Yahuwah, and to be received of him is long life. Chapter 24. Wisdom shall praise herself, and shall esteem in the midst of her people. In the congregation of the Most High shall she open her mouth, and triumph before his power. I came out of the mouth of the Most High, and covered the earth as a cloud. I dwelt in high places, and my throne is in a cloudy pillar. I alone compassed the circuit of heaven, and walked in the bottom of the deep. In the waves of the sea, and in all the earth, and in every people and nation, I got a possession. With all these I sought rest, and in whose inheritance shall I abide? So the Creator of all things gave me a commandment, and he that made me caused my tabernacle to rest, and said, Let your dwelling be in Jacob, and your inheritance in Yashar'al. He created me from the beginning before the world, and I shall never fail. In the set-apart tabernacle I served before him, and so was I established in Zion. Likewise in the beloved city he gave me rest, and in Jerusalem was my power. And I took root in an honorable people, even in the portion of Yahuwah's inheritance. I was exalted like a cedar in Lebanon, and as a cypress tree upon the mountains of Hermon. I was exalted like a palm tree in En-Gadi, and as a rose plant in Jericho, as a fair olive tree in a pleasant field, and grew up as a plane tree by the water. I gave a sweet smell like cinnamon and aspalathus, and I yielded a pleasant odor like the best myrrh, as galbanum and onyx and sweet storax, and as the fume of frankincense in the tabernacle. As the turpentine tree, I stretched out my branches, and my branches are the branches of honor and favor. As the vine brought I forth pleasant savor, and my flowers are the fruit of honor and riches. I am the mother of fair love and fear and knowledge and set apart hope. I therefore, being eternal, am given to all my children which are named of him. Come unto me, all you that be desirous of me, and fill yourselves with my fruits. For my memorial is sweeter than honey, and my inheritance than the honeycomb. They that eat me shall yet be hungry, and they that drink me shall yet be thirsty. He that obeys me shall never be confounded, and they that work by me shall not sin. All these things are the book of the covenant of the Most High Elohim, even the law which Moses commanded for an heritage unto the congregation of Jacob. Faint not to be strong in Yahuwah, that he may confirm you, cleave unto him, for Yahuwah Almighty is Elohim alone, and beside him there is no other Savior. He fills all things with his wisdom, as Phazon, and as Tigris in the time of the new fruits. He makes the understanding to abound like Euphrates, and as the Jordan in the time of the harvest. He makes the doctrine of knowledge appear as the light, and as Gion in the time of vintage. The first man knew her not perfectly, no more shall the last find her out. For her thoughts are more than the sea, and her counsels profounder than the great deep. I also came out as a brook from a river, and as a conduit into a garden. I said, I will water my best garden, and will water abundantly my garden bed, and lo, my brook became a river, and my river became a sea. I will yet make doctrine to shine as the morning, and will send forth her light afar off. I will yet pour out doctrine as prophecy, and leave it to all ages forever. Behold that I have not labored for myself only, but for all them that seek wisdom. Chapter 25. In 3 things I was beautified, and stood up beautiful both before Elohim and men, the unity of brethren, the love of neighbors, a man and a wife that agree together. 3 sorts of men my soul hates, and I am greatly offended at their life: a poor man that is proud, a rich man that is a liar, and an old adulterer that commits adultery. If you have gathered nothing in your youth, how can you find anything in your old age? Oh, how attractive a thing is judgment for gray hairs, and for ancient men to know counsel. Oh, how attractive is the wisdom of old men, and understanding and counsel to men of honor. Much experience is the crown of old men, and the fear of Elohim is their splendor. There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue, a man that have joy of his children, and he that lives to see the fall of his enemy. Well is him that dwells with a wife of understanding, and that have not slipped with his tongue, and that have not served a man more unworthy than himself. Well is him that have found prudence, and he that speaks in the ears of them that will hear. Oh, how great is he that finds wisdom! Yet is there none above him that fears Yahuwah. But the love of Yahuwah passes all things for illumination, he that holds it whereto shall he be likened. The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of his love, and faith is the beginning of cleaving unto him. Give me any plague, but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness, but the wickedness of a woman. And any affliction, but the affliction from them that hate me, and any revenge, but the revenge of enemies. There is no head above the head of a serpent, and there is no wrath above the wrath of an enemy. I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon, than to keep house with a wicked woman. The wickedness of a woman changes her face, and darkens her countenance like sackcloth. Her husband shall sit among his neighbors, and when he hears it shall sigh bitterly. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman, let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. As the climbing up a sandy way is to the feet of the aged, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman, and desire her not for pleasure. When a man is supported by his wife, there is sure to be anger, arrogance, and much humiliation. A wicked woman abate the courage, makes an heavy countenance, and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress makes weak hands and feeble knees. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. If she go not as you would have her, cut her off from your flesh, and give her a bill of divorce, and let her go.